Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Stephanie Fisher. I'm a licensed counselor here in the state of Michigan, and I am owner and operator of In Progress Counseling. One of the things that can catch people by surprise is the recovery process that might have to take place to revive us after a lot of energy has been spent. And we've talked about this historically, and we've used, some of those extreme examples of like an ultra marathoner who depletes everything and it takes their body time to go through the, rehydration and remineralization and vitamin process. But what can happen too, even in short-term bouts of anxiety, we can actually sap our energy in ways that surprise us. And so let's say I have a problem that my brain is working on, and maybe I'm going about my day's work, but back here my brain is also trying to problem solve something that's at my level of awareness. It's a current agitation or something I'm trying to sort through. When I get home at night, I can be flummoxed about, why am I so tired? It was a typical day. And it's like, well, not really if you multitasked all day and you did both your job and the worrying piece or the problem solving on the back burner. There is an energy expenditure that happens when we are using up a lot of energy. I get that that's redundant. When there's a lot of action or activity happening and it's outside of our normal capacity or it's pushing us into the threshold of past our limits, there's going to be a recovery process. And so what I'm aware of, especially as I've talked to several people that have very recently finished an extensive and exhaustive school program. Some of them are my current professors, and they might have, received their PhDs. Some of them received it just last calendar year. And so they're saying it's 6 months later, it's 9 months later, and if I see a book, if I see a library, if I see a journal article, I get instantly exhausted because some of that fatigue, that year of being under distress, writing that last paper, it is exhausting. And they're saying it's 6 months later, 7 months later, 9 months later, I'm still trying to recover because, oh buddy, that took it out of me. The longer we're under taxation, often the longer the recovery process takes, and that's not a problem. That's actually very normal. What can become troublesome is when people get frustrated or demand that their body recover more quickly than it's capable of. I think our bodies are brilliant at trying to restore us to our baselines. I think, with proper nutrition and vitamins and minerals and hydration, moving it, doing relaxation techniques, connection and community, I think if we're feeding it all the nourishment that it needs to recover, we're going to increase our ability to recover. We're going to support recovery. And it takes time. We don't get to short circuit the system by just demanding that we recover quickly. Typically, it's rest, relaxation, restoration, or just going at a little bit of a gentler cadence, and we typically will come back up to that baseline. But the higher the distress and the longer the duress, often the longer the recovery. And so if you're in, if you're in a season where it's after a crisis or after some big life shift or after something's happened and you're noticing a fatigue or a low energy, ask yourself if you really overtaxed the system in the recent history. Might that explain this? And is it possible that giving yourself nourishing inputs over time, you will get back up to a more peppy place, a more normal baseline for whatever that means for you? Often it's a matter of giving it time. And so the encouragement is, if you're feeling like, hey, I don't want to be in this dip, but there's something that explains why you're in the dip, feed yourself the right inputs and nourishments and see if giving yourself a little bit of time actually restores you to a place that's your normal daily functioning.